Hello friends and welcome back to another game making session here in Unity. Uh, I'm not going to do introductions anymore. I think we are already set on what we are doing. And what I want to do today and why I started recording this is that I have restored the basic scene from the template that we had because I think it was better to work this way. And there is a little more space to run around here. And what I need to do is to understand how all the elements of this thing work and how I can make them work for me instead. So change this template, make it better. For now, first steps, I just want to show you that this little guy here has 4 scripts. There's the basic behavior, the move behavior, the aim behavior, and the fly behavior. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove the fly behavior because I really don't need that. So this component is off. Then I just get into the scripts, probably player scripts, and remove the fly behavior. We don't need this, even though it is part of the template. It's really not necessary for what we are doing here. So what I want to do is to take a basic reading on all those scripts. First of all, starting with the basic behavior, I want to see what's happening with any of those. It's been 2 hours that I'm watching these scripts over here. It's really hard to get a grasp of what's going on. So I think we're going to start from scratch about this script. Yeah, that sounds good. Because seriously, this is... I know the guy that made this wants to sell his stuff, but Jesus Christ, there's so much happening here. I think it would be better if I could start over, but use this as inspiration, of course. So yeah, let's get to work before I go officially crazy. Okay, so we are back. I want you guys to meet Mr. Capsu. He's going to be our best friend for a while. And this guy here will receive the scripts that I'm going to write, which will probably, I hope so, allow us to actually move. So yeah, this should be interesting. Let's try to... I'm going to set up the controllers, and we can start making it work. I am in the project settings, and I really want to change some stuff. Mouse X, mouse Y. Okay, I don't need to change anything here. Seems fine. It has the motions, jump is space, fire left control or mouse 0, okay, horizontal left right, which is going to be changed to it's A and D already. Okay, so I don't need to change anything on the controllers because it's already kind of set up for what we need. So this is good. Let's go to the next step. What I'm going to do with Mr. Capsu here is that I'm going to create a script component. New script. And this is script for now. I will get some ideas from the last project that we saw, and this is going to be the movement behavior. Okay, so this is the most bare bones thing I can think about when I create a new script for movement. So basically, we are just declaring this class as a player movement, which is a mono behavior that's unit standard. We are declaring a move speed and a move direction, which is private, so I can change it. On the update, when we use the update function, we are basically executing this all the frames in the game. So for each frame, the game will verify if any of those inputs are pressed, and if they are, it will calculate the direction based on the axis that I'm using, since the axis is already configured within the Unity, the Unity thing. This direction will be normalized, which means it will be basically rounded, and then it will transform the object that this is attached to with time delta time, so our frame rate does not impact our, the frame rate does not impact our, what can I say, our total speed. So even if we are with 30 or 60 frames per second, it will be the same speed. This is why time delta time exists. And space warp is basically just a reading of what's happening around the character. So let's see if this thing here, let's see if this thing works. Yeah, there you go. See, it's moving. It's something. Okay, now I need to start thinking about the camera, which is going to be the main camera. This main camera, it could naturally be attached to our player, which means if I get my camera and put it on Mr. Capsu, that means this camera here will move together with Mr. Capsu. See, we are moving together. So sure, there is no inertia, there is no anything, so we're just moving and we are falling to the infinity. Let's think about the camera next. I want it to be able to rotate the player character when it's referencing to it. So I will use a little bit of AI and a little bit of code and see if I can come up with something. And I realized that the AI actually gave me, most of this was AI made, basically give me basically a pretty good controller here, and it's easier to understand than what we had on the other thing. So basically this, we have a target, which is going to be the player, the object that the camera will follow. There is an offset control, so it positions itself around the target the way I want it to. The sensitivity, the distance from the target, and the rotation speed around the target based on the mouse movement. On the start, it will position the camera around the target, which is what we want. Then, for each frame of the game, it will check the mouse position and multiply it with sensitivity, so it gets some values, and will rotate the camera based on these values. It will calculate the rotation based on the current rotation Y and X, which is calculated around here, and then it will apply this transformation to the camera so it can actually rotate. It also has one thing here that we are going to change, that if the right mouse button is pressed, the player will rotate with the camera. But what I actually want is that the player will always rotate with the camera, so we are always looking to the back of our player. Something that I still need to figure out how this is going to work. And for us to be able to see these transformations happening, if this is working or not, I'm going to put some textures on Mr. Capsu. Okay, I actually found a good one. So we have Yoko here from Resident Evil Outbreak. The camera can't be attached to Mr. Capsu anymore because the camera position will be constantly updated. It doesn't matter if Mr. Capsu is part of the camera or not. So it's going out, and Mr. Capsu is now the target of the camera. And if we play that, let's see if it works. Yes, it does. It does work. It's a little clunky, of course. And yeah, as you guys can see, it works, but it does not work at the same time. Because it seems to be rotating. Hang on, let me see what's happening with this rotation here. I see. It's not rotating. It's rotating, but it's not rotating on the right angle. It's rotating only on one angle that I don't want it to rotate. I think it's actually rotating in all angles, but it's way slower than what the mouse is. The rotation speed, it's completely different than the move speed of the camera, it should be the same. It rotates both on the X and the Y axis, and I don't want it to rotate on the X and Y axis. If we select the capsule and rotate, we can, let me take my face out of here. If we select the object, the capsule, and rotate it, you can see on the top corner that it only moves on the Y axis. So I really don't want to mess with the X axis, which is basically what's doing here. This is not interesting. So the X axis goes out. We don't need that. So you guys should understand what I'm doing with the AI here. We are on ChatGPT, and what I'm doing is that I'm asking for some stuff, and I'm asking for changes for this stuff. So this actually should streamline my process of doing what I want to do. So I took the script, the first version of it, I tested, as you guys saw, and then I asked for some changes on this script. So this will give me something that I expect to be what I want, and if it's not, we should work on it. And so we are pasting this. As you can see, it kind of simplified the script, which is what I expected. Yeah. There we go. I'm only missing the camera movement on the Y-axis. I'm not going to show this always, okay? So we don't waste too much time with this, but just so you guys can understand that what I'm doing here. So now I ask to restore the Y-axis positioning because it was missing, and then add the delta time to make the movement smoother because I realized that it was a little bit jagged. So yeah, let's see. I'm going to get this new version and see how it works. Yeah, okay, this is getting much better already than the other template that we had. But okay, so now that we have like a going forward and backward thing, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go back to the template thing, and I'm going to steal some stuff from there because I want the animations and I want that skeleton, so Mr. Capsule here can actually be something instead of a capsule, which will look much better already. So let's try to grab that. Let's try to grab that.